Hi, it's Ricky from My Little Liza Soap Company, and I wanted to do this quick video for our new group that Louise from 805 Soaps and I have started. It's called A Shout Out to Melt and Pour, and people have been asking about molds. Now what I want to show is how I make a lot of my own molds. One of the ways is here, this base here, and then this base here is literally the silicone caulking. And you have to make sure it's 100% silicone. And you mix it with your cornstarch. And recommend gloves, strongly recommend gloves. Get one of your dollar store bowls, cut the tip of this off, squeeze it in the bowl. Usually half is good, it's kind of strong, so do it outside. Put a bunch of the cornstarch in and just mix it and mix it. And you're going to mix it quite a bit. What I did here was I needed ice cream toppers, and this is a strawberry melt and pour. And I got these off of eBay. I'm doing a huge order of 600 bath bombs for a woman's retreat for a church. So they wanted ice cream scoopers. These were the first ones that I had ordered, and I thought that they would fit on these nut cups here. And I was wrong. So I went ahead and made some anyway just to test it out. Here's my form. Now with this mold, I used this stuff. And it's amazing mold putty. You get it from Michael's. It's like $20. You can use your 40% off coupon. It's good for like the smaller stuff. So this is my mold. I'm trying to do this one-handed because I've got the camera. So it just pops out. Okay, there's the plastic one, but I didn't want to waste it since I already made the mold and I had already shaped it, even though it was too small for this. So I went ahead and I just sell them as little goodie baggies at, you know, some of my shows and stuff. So it still has pretty much paid for itself, and it's a fun little size. So this stuff also, I'll do the smaller button molds out of. This is a shoe one I'm working on for a boutique out here. And here's the soap inside the form. And I know it's small, it's tedious. I'll probably whip about 4 of them out and do it. And then what I do is when I get to the very bottom of some of my soap, I'll just use it for embeds and then use it for something later, such as this. It's a bunch of flowers. You know, I can always use the flowers for something. So this bar I'm going to show you, my sailboat busted off of it, unfortunately, but it's the only one I had handy without running upstairs to my inventory. This is a Maryland bar. And I totally did. This was a custom order, so I only made 20 of these. And here's the sailboat. This was from a button. And I molded them. It was a little tedious. I have somebody that works for me, and I'll have them do more of the small stuff like this. I just think it's more cost effective for me to pay them to do that while I go on to kind of my bigger orders. But I do love the way that this turns out. The detail on the buttons is fabulous. So these are buttons. The sailboats are buttons. Here is the mold I used. And once again, it was with this stuff. And you mix it 50-50, and then it will turn out yellow. Put the buttons in deep enough to do it, and then when you let it sit for, I think, about 20 minutes, you pop it out, and then here's your mold that you can do. So this was used, and this was used here on this Maryland bar that I had done for a mold. Another thing that I had going on is I ordered this silly little guy. It's a vintage button. I paid a little more for it than I usually do, but I got it off eBay, and here's the little mold for it. And this is for a custom order of bars for somebody that's starting an origami owl business. So she wanted me to do a couple little bars for her to give out at her first show, and then what I'm doing is I'm stamping her name and phone number in it for her to hand out. Here is the bigger one that I said, and as you can see on the nut cup, these are going to be just fizzies inside here with their scoop of soap on the top. So I have, last count, 500 of these to make possibly 600. The mold, I'm very happy with it. It's really sturdy. I think if anything it's sturdier than this kind here. I need to make about 10 of these for the rate that I'm going to get these done. And then this is another special thing made out of the same stuff with the cornstarch and the silicone. And it's rolled out with a rolling pin. And then this is for, it's a police officer badge kind of that I'm doing for a special thing too. So this is the mold with it, and because it's thinner, you know, rolled it out with a rolling pin and put it in here. But much cheaper to go this way, much more labor intensive, but you do get the effect you need. This was a special order I did a while ago, and it was for Girl Scouts of America. I have several of these, but this is the Samoa, the Thin Mint, and the shortbread. I think it's Savannah Smiles. So this was a custom order I did. Because these are Girl Scouts of America, they were copyrighted. So I had typed up a waiver, told them that after I made these, I would destroy the molds when I was done. This was a big pour of 150 of each of these. And like I said, I was going out to Girl Scouts of America back east. I'm in California, so back east. So that was pretty exciting in that you're able to copy exactly what you need. Now, the thing I did notice with these is you've got to watch your temperature on your melt and pours, because if you pour your soap kind of hot, it tends to break these down, and you need to be careful with that. So I would recommend pouring them probably about 120, when you're melting pour about 120. So here's my little box of my embeds that I have. These were scrapbook corners that I did. This is from another favor. So you can see I have a lot of them. This is for an Aladdin bar I'm going to do. And then flowers. I don't think you can ever have enough flowers. So like I said, quite a bit. Here's some of my buttons. Not all of them, but some of the buttons I use. I've used these for baby shower favors. And, I mean, it's just, if your imagination to go wild. This is for a bar I have called the Violet Bar. It's a bar I make for a little, it started off for a little girl who had huge skin sensitivity, so do with no fragrance, pretty mild bar, but I put a castle on it just so she can have some bling in her life. Here's some more of the buttons I did in here, the flowers. Like I said, I don't think you can have enough flowers. And I've used this mold here. I just put those in to show you. I'm using it now, as you can see, with the pink for a baby shower for twins. Here's some of the flowers that I do. I think it's pretty easy to go. I have on this side with 4 of these, I probably have 10 of these. So you just heat up a little bit, you know, pour it on, go on and do something else. I'm usually working on about 10 projects at once. So this is for the baby shower. I need to get the Origami Owl favors done. I'm going to do another bar along this line. That's going to be my San Francisco bar, because like I said, I am from the San Francisco Bay Area. So this has the ocean coming in to the right. When I do my San Francisco bars, it's going to have the ocean coming in from the left. So this is Maryland. They're huge into lacrosse, and the blue crab is their crustacean. So my San Francisco bar will have an orange crab. It'll have one sailboat on it, not because it broke off like this one, but just I'm just going to do one. I poured this with the colored, but when I put the sailboats on, I did it with a clear, and I did it kind of a little bit of waves trying to show. So what I did for my San Francisco, and I'll make a mold out of it, is I found this is like a 1960s souvenir pencil sharpener thing. So I'm busting the top off, so all you're going to see is that part there, and it will go on the bar. And then I have found some California poppy earrings that I'll make molds out of and do it, so I'll be excited to show you that. But, you know, if you got the time and you want to do it, the possibilities are endless with what you can do with these molds and what you can make and how you can shape it. Now, there's going to be people out there right now that are cringing and saying, I don't have time for that. Well, if you don't have time for that, then that's probably just not your genre of what you want to do. This is one of the things that I love the most about my business that I do, is the favors and using my imagination to come up with something like this. I have bars that I've probably poured 50 times for my repeat customers and my best-selling bars. This I will do once. I did it once. I did 20 of them. Like I said, it was a custom pour, and I live for this. This is what I love. This is what sparks my imagination. I like thinking outside the box and going that angle. And I don't think I'd be able to get the results that I get on a lot of this stuff if I didn't have these mediums to work with. Like I said, this is expensive. It's great for real quick, little simple. You know, I'm only knocking out about 20 of these bars, so I just did one owl. I'll just, you know, pour it real simple. These have no fragrance in them, so, you know, I have my melting pot, and I just slowly fill it in with what's in there. This is, like I said, probably a big order. It's a little tedious, but, you know, money talks sometimes, and unfortunately I couldn't pass up this order, and it's been exciting to do. It's just a little redundant, but the challenge was fun, and I kind of like being challenged, so this amount on the short amount of time to get it done is kind of exciting You can see my glitter everywhere. We're both glitter. So I hope that helps you. I would invest, I think it ends up being, if you use your coupon, like $14 to get this. And it's addicting. You'll wanna make a mold out of anything that's not nailed down. But like I said, I think this opens up a whole new window for a lot of people, and especially those that are a little more creative. And maybe you have something that you want to make a mold out of, maybe something that you want to share with the family, a special thing like this here with this badge. It's a great retirement, for somebody that's retiring from even the fire department, sheriff's department, police department. And you can totally score this, just like you with ceramics. I score it, and then I score the piece it's going on to. I spray it with rubbing alcohol, put a little clear soap on it, and embed it on a bar of soap. Like I said, nice little memorial kind of a thing, or even somebody that's maybe graduating from, police academy or the fire academy or something. But I just think that it opens a whole new window of possibilities for people, and especially with those little extra couple drops of soap you have, and if you're like me and you don't want to waste it, pour it in one of these forms. Save it for later. Like I said, you can never have enough flowers, and you'll find that you can use them later for something else, and it helps too, I think, on the waste. So I hope that helped you. Look for us on Facebook. We have a new group that's open for everybody, and it's called Shout Out to Melt and Pour. And like I said, Louise from 805 Sew